Hello, everyone, and welcome to our gathering here of the illustrious UnderAcademy 10-year anniversary and SpeeDegree program. I'm Mark Marino, your provost, provisional provost. I was recently, I don't know if you don't follow your alumni news or your campus news, I was promoted from probationary provost to provisional provost within the last year or so. And as we gather here for this anniversary, we want to start people off properly, of course, because you will have the opportunity to earn your SpeeDegree. I am going to put a link in the chat to our application for the SpeeDegree, so you'll want to fill those out relatively quickly. Again, we do have some counselors standing by. And then also I'm going to put in the chat a link to our schedule for our agenda. Let me just share that really quickly on the screen for you all, so it can be immortalized in our recording. And we're very grateful to have a wonderful set of faculty here. We've got Søren Pold, Chris Funkhouser, David Heckman, Fred Young, Maria Damon, and Alan Sondheim. We have some assembly of Alan Sondheim. We have most of those people here to give their talks. And if they're not here, they're at least listed. So let me turn things over to our founder and president of UnderAcademy, Talan Memmott, who has prepared a video that's going to take the place of his, that will offer his introductory remarks. I think you have to reshare with the audio selected.
UnderAcademy College is an unaccredited undergraduate, graduate, and postgraduate anti-degree institution. UnderAcademy College is an unaccredited undergraduate, graduate, and postgraduate anti-degree institution. UnderAcademy College situates itself as a shadow academic environment offering alternative courses and anti-degree programs in a variety of subjects. From catabolic poiesis to dad jokes, from meme culture to grammar porn, pedestrianics, apocalyptics, and dyskinetics. The primary mission of UnderAcademy College is to remain open, marginal, and unaccredited. As founder and president Talan Memmott puts it, UnderAcademy is not anti-academic, it is under the influence of the academy. And we are not a university, we are called a college because of its phonological proximity to collage. In fall of 2011, UnderAcademy founder Alan Sondheim started gathering the college's faculty through a pedagogical provocation, asking for each candidate to develop a class they thought they would never be able to teach at a more traditional institution. What candidates didn't know is that the proposed courses would be the first cycle of courses UnderAcademy would offer in spring 2012. UnderAcademy College opened its proverbial doors in February 2012 as an alternative to traditional, stuffy, accredited institutions of higher education. The college attracts non-traditional students seeking more flexible, marginalized, and heterogeneous programs of study. The structure of UnderAcademy College allows such students to benefit from the college's creative international faculty, non-existent facilities, and resources, i.e., the internet, without the need to really follow any course of study. With a completely free and opt-in approach, students become participants in the research, creative projects, and the curriculum for whatever course they are engaged. In the end, participants may subjectively accumulate credits toward obscure anti-degrees with varying real-world applications.
I chose UnderAcademy because I got rejected from every other college on the planet. And, believe me, I applied. I probably got rejected them. I am not sure I've learned a damn thing at UAC, but I now have a degree, which helped me gain employment as the doors stop.
In the 10 years since its inception, UnderAcademy has supplied tangential academic experiences for over 1,000 student participants, explored cultural and literary, creative and critical topics that are marginal if not unacceptable in more traditional environments, all the while maintaining a sense of both frivolity and rigor. Thank you for joining us in celebrating 10 years of UnderAcademy College. And, onward scholar, you will have your UAC anti-degree in under an hour.
Thank you, President Memmott, for that wonderful video. That was really, really wonderful. So now I'm going to take over for a second just to share some words. And I'm also going to share this Miro board I just created with some memories from UnderAcademy College. And you're welcome to peruse that on your own. I really have no idea how Miro works, so it looks like Prezi to me, but I'll let you figure that out. Okay, so it's my honor to welcome you to this 10th anniversary. I do want to begin with just having us raise whatever glass you have to Talan for creating such a wonderful institution, and for bringing us all together, and for always inspiring us with these his own subtle, humorous kind of rebellion that we take part in here. And I really appreciate all of you who've gathered with us as well. So right now, I'm kind of overcome with a feeling of gratitude for UnderAcademy College, which I joined back in about 2009. When I first taught the grammar porn class while recovering from a knee injury. And I had, I just had a blast in the liberating environment. In every assignment that I gave and that I ever give in UnderAcademy, I say, either do this assignment or don't do it, or do something else, or come up with your own assignment and issue it to everyone. And I've taught a number of courses. I taught grammar porn, fake news, dad jokes, Escuela del Chaos, the Unzoomable course. I think there was one more too. And it always felt like such a refreshing alternative, because with my other hat, well, I'm actually gonna switch them. My other hat, literally my other hat. Here's my other hat. I teach required courses with attendance requirements and paper cycles and revisions requirements to students who prefer to be elsewhere, but have paid way too much to be told what to do, when many of them are used to, they've been raised to do the telling of what to do. And with UnderAcademy, I teach and learn from student/teachers who join the class voluntarily and who pay nothing, and who participate if they want to, or as they wish. I think at this point I should be wearing the other hat. And of course, all of our contents are freely shared. When I was first promoting UnderAcademy College back in the day, wearing my promotions hat, I honestly thought it was a joke. I thought this was Talan's bitter satire on the academy. And so I framed the press releases as an anti-MOOC, if you remember those MOOCs, the massive online open classes, or if that's even what it stood for. And as I went on my self-promotional press junket, Talan pulled me aside at a bar in kind of a seedy hypertext hotel. And he said, Mark, it's no joke. And I said, but Talan, the logo is an upside down pig. And he said, and a right side up frog, and chicken and crab. And I said, yeah, aren't those jokes? And he said, no. He said, let me break it down for you. UnderAcademy College is not a joke. It's an uninstitution, an anti-institution in the model of Black Mountain College of the Carolinas. And then he laid out the serious principles behind UnderAcademy to me. So since then, I got to teach, many courses. And as you can tell from my courses, I didn't entirely get the point. But with a president who uses Groucho Marx for his profile pic, maybe I did. So anyway, with those words, I say, long live the UnderAcademy and its prestigious unalums. And with that, I think we can turn over to our scheduled lessons. Again, one more time before we get started on the actual courses, let me share with you the application for your SpeeDegree, which you should fill out promptly. Actually, we're gonna give you just a few seconds to fill that out so that you can be included. We don't need to leave without this degree. If you're watching this video afterwards, I don't know if you're eligible for a degree or not, but it's nice that you watched, I guess. We appreciate it. This is also good moments to say that UnderAcademy College doesn't have a physical location, so we don't occupy any territory that belonged to other people that was unceded. So we're proud of that. I guess we have virtual locations. And of course, there is an international global crisis going on, not just a pandemic, but military attacks on a sovereign nation. So, there's that. Okay. All right. So that feels like enough time for you guys to fill out those applications, although you can continue to fill them out if you will. Let me show you again our schedule of speakers. And I'm saying speakers, but I want you to understand these are full UnderAcademy College courses that will be offered to you in pretty much several minutes each. So, this would not be a good time to get up and use the restroom or to take a break or anything like that, because you'll miss an entire course, essentially, maybe multiple courses. So our lineup, we're going to start. Well, you see the order. I'm really not going to. Well, maybe because for people at home, if they're only listening to this, we're going to have Søren Pold followed by Chris Funkhouser, David Heckman, Fred Young, Maria Damon, Alan Sondheim, and then we also have a course by Jeff Johnson.
Wait, you didn't know about?
Who's gonna?
You didn't know about the quiz?
And there might be a quiz apparently.
It's a very important quiz.
So all of those things I think will happen at some point, and then we'll have a little bit of time for you guys to take care of getting your cap and gown, and then we'll conclude with graduation itself. So without further ado, let me turn things.
Yep.
Let me turn things over to faculty member Søren Pold to teach you Nothing is Real, Machine Learning, Fiction, and Natural Language Processing Forever. I think I've said that one right.
Yeah, I'm gonna share my screen. I have some sort of generated graphics here.
So what else is going on?
Well, nothing else. Well, anyway, I'm going to speak on reality, which is my specialty in the UnderAcademy College. Basically, if you look at machine learning and neural language processing, it makes no distinction between fiction and non-fiction, which is something I've stolen from colleagues. And it uses data, but the data might be fiction, and then it uses an algorithm to generate its output, and this generating algorithm aims to resemble the real through a technical act of fiction. So basically, what you have is this graph saying facts times fiction to the second, or to the power of second. And the conclusion of this is sort of the cultural dimension. We've never been postmodern. The Gulf War was a fiction. The Gulf War is a fiction. Baudrillard said that. That's over. Now, the Cold War is a fiction, and it's currently being generated, as you know. And George Landau has this idea of the convergence of contemporary critical theory and technology. Now, what we have is the revenge or the reversal of technology and contemporary warfare, which, yeah, I guess I don't have to make a point of that. And here's the exam or the coursework. So you can choose between an essay or an artwork that reflects, explores, criticizes, or changes, and I guess that's important, this turn in pointing out the problems and potentials of this reversal. And you can use machine learning or neuro-linguistic programming processing for this, but your grade will rely on whether you do it in a reflective way. You can also choose to create peace on earth, or the third point is to make Putin, Trump, Le Pen, Orban, Kaczynski, Messerschmidt, and all their friends understand that they are fictitious and remove them from power. That's my course.
All right, thank you, faculty member Pold. I really appreciate that. Excellent course. All right, so that's one course down. Next up, we have Chris Funkhouser. He's going to teach, well, I'm going to try to pronounce this right. Poetry is Spake Quasha, a preverbs tell-all.
Yeah. Quote, the performance of poetry is complicit with the continuing life of making poetry. How this plays out in social context of poetry is infinitely complex and mostly impossible to track, unquote. George Quasha. George Quasha is a poet, writer, artist, musician who has interviewed more than 1,000 artists in his Art Is, Poetry Is, Music Is, Speaking Portraits collection. And with all that input, is as ready as anyone to say in print and multi-dimensionally what poetry is. Steady transmissions appear throughout Quasha's preverbs directly address this undefinable meaning of poetry is of distinct interest, retain and trod on. Speaking animate. In this measure, poetry is eruptive. Poetry is a life-threatening force. Things done for themselves. Poetry is the state, stating. Poetry is before saying. Poetry is discourse which contended disappears all around itself. So poetry is unsustainable discourse, regenerate in its failures to speak. Poetry is surgical. We read the remains. Glossolalia attract. Poetry is language saving us from being right. Pure poetry is interdimensional deadpan. Poetry is language scaling to the intimate moment. Poetry is language learning to mean every crazed word. Poetry is a tongue bath on the path of deconditioning. Poetry is a deconditioning agent working for the goddess knows who. Poetry is made at the edge of running language. Poetry is its level of self-selection. Poetry is overhearing at the speed of sound, late yet getting into step at 0 point, diamond of the moment. Oh, by the way, just retain, there is no quiz. Poetry is godly trouble. Poetry is consciousness laid tongue bare. Only poetry is in question. Thus spake Quasha. Poetry is to be feared without cause. Poetry is the art form of first time intersections. Not even rabbits go down this hole. You just cut me off when I'm done. Poetry is language dreaming, including her consort nightmare. Poetry. Poetry is language willing to get excited and not knowing what it is. The true subject of poetry is knitting, scale, invariant. Poetry is the bottom falling out from above as high as you get. Poetry self-secretly names the mother of language adoringly. Poetry is a youthful thing, an age invariable. Poetry is training for the great escape, reshape. Poetry is language sleeping with its eyes open. Poetry is non-resignation to the stunning force of ordinary language. Poetry is a name for doing its talking, and last but not least, black scintillation. Poetry is language refusing seduction.
All right. I think we have to cut you off there, Professor Funkhouser. Great job. Great job. Another great course. Thank you so much. Move it. This is a whirlwind curriculum we got here. We're going to move.
Dismissed.
We're gonna move on to David Heckman, who's going to teach ethics, ? Fake it till you make it.
I've been talking for a long time. I'm gonna go back. All right.
Wait, I thought that was a bit.
What? No.
I thought that was part of the course. Okay.
Oh, no. No, you don't want to shit where you eat, okay? Because I don't want you taking this literally, okay? It's a metaphor. I mean, it's serious. You don't like shit in a restaurant, probably, or in your car if you eat in your car, or if you fly on a plane. But also it's like you don't screw around where you make your money. So you don't like sleep with your students or your coworkers. You don't punch them, scream at them, steal from them. You don't lie about them unless they're on their way out. You don't want to get in a situation where these things are going to bite you in the ass. And that's like 99% of ethics right there. Not letting people catch on to who you really are. And eventually you get to a point where, like me, I shit wherever I want. But you're not there yet, okay? So the next thing you want to do is you want to be your best. And that means by any means necessary, do what you got to do to get ahead, okay? Don't be egotistical. Someone has a good idea, learn to use the copy and paste. Sharing is caring, and you probably won't get caught. On the other hand, you don't be afraid to believe in yourself. So consider like developing your CV or resume that explores your potential. that highlights your aspirations. You have to put your best foot forward if you really want to shine. You got to tell people what they want to hear, what you need to tell them to get what you want. The next important part of ethics is reciprocity. And that means something, it's Latin, quid pro quo. I say pro because all the professionals do it. Don't let people take advantage of you. You are where you are for a reason. I mean, why do you think I'm up here leading this dog and pony show and you're writing all this shit down? Because I am somebody, and well, maybe you could be somebody someday, but for now you're a nobody. So if you want something from me, well, you can't just expect me to give it to you for nothing. That's horse shit. Well, what's in it for me? If you can get this down, you're going to do well for yourself. And the next thing you want to do is practice respect. This is very important everywhere I've ever worked in academia. This is how do you get from being a nobody to being a somebody? Okay. Show proper respect. Learn to pay attention to who's the Chad and who's the beta cuck, and you act accordingly. You respect the social hierarchy. It's the key to modern life. If you want to be treated like an expert, act like an expert. If you aren't an expert, then get the fuck out of my way. You want me to cite things? I'm not going to cite some asshole, nobody from buttfuck Egypt. If you want to do something for me, then that's fine. But that's how I get a book every year, and you don't have shit. Look at me. I'm in Hawaii. I'm in Hawaii right now. Where are you? Oh, that's right. You're sitting on a fucking Zoom call. Care begins with you. You know, you got to practice in what we call an ethic of care. And that means looking out for numero uno. If you do not believe in yourself, you're going to get fucked in the ass. Practice self-care. Do not dress like a bum. Don't take shit from anyone. And when fortune throws something in your path, you take it. Don't be a chump. Discover values. Finally, this is important. You got to explore values. Everybody likes Google, right? How did they get so ethical? How did they stay that way? They had a motto, and it's called "Don't be evil." It's a very good idea. And come up with a motto or some slogan about how you aren't doing anything wrong, or you're doing something that other people like. And if somebody attacks you, accuse them of being against your ethics. Oh, you think I shouldn't be evil? Well, good idea, loser, you know? But it's deeper than just a simple slogan, because Google's done a lot of things that they've been able to put this slogan to work for their advantage. And they made it big enough. So now they got rid of the slogan. They don't even need it. And so, now you complain. What are you complaining about? Go to Google, look at their website. I don't see anything about them being evil or not being evil. And that's what ethics is all about. Cutting through the bullshit and being your best you. And so this is just a little recap here. The only assignment I have for you is to pay attention, right? Because you're going to come across a lot of deadbeats, chumps, and losers out there. And if you get big, you're going to have to deal with haters. But that's a separate seminar, and that costs a little bit of money. You can get a hold of me after this talk here, and I'd be happy to sell you the package. I also have some suggestions for further reading. If you have any questions, just reach out to me. And if you make it worth my while, I'm happy to help you. All right, thanks.
All right, thank you, David, for that course.
It's David Heckman, Marino.
David Hickman. Sorry, I was mispronouncing the
got my name wrong. You got my name wrong in the program.
Not the first time. All right, so moving right along. I should say we have hit. It's good you have that background on, David, because we've hit spring break. This adds up for all of the spring breaks you would be taking for your entire undergraduate education at the UnderAcademy. So, just catch a few rays or stare at David's background for a little bit. Soak it in. Enjoy. And I think break is over. So now you're back. You're tired. You've got COVID. Right on schedule. So we've got now we have a class, and unfortunately I don't think our faculty member is here for this. On the schedule it says schizo curation, tactics, art, and the return of high theory. But wait, I see alert lemur on the document. It says Google the collapse of occupied Vichy San Francisco. But I don't see Fred. Is Fred here somewhere and I just can't see him? Dina suggests that you could just look it up if you wish to find out what lessons you're missing. There may be a Khan Academy course with a similar name, so that might be close enough. All right. Yeah, I don't see, if Fred comes in later, we'll have him teach it. So next up, we're moving right on. So that's a whole course. I don't know, President Memmott, do we have permission to just to go ahead and give people a pass on that one? Keep it moving. All right, next up, we've got Maria with comparative Marxism.
Can you see this? UnderAcademy College, you'll never be bored again.
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's just a little shout out to us and to our fearless leader, Talan. Did I stop screen sharing? Okay, there we go. I'm going to read a paper. It's not as funny as I hoped it would be. Now I've confused myself. Okay. I don't. All right, I'm going to have to close you down, Harpo, darling, and stop sharing. Okay, and then I can read my paper, maybe. All right, comparative Marxisms. In 1933, the mime, artist, and comedian Harpo Marx, who I assume needs no further introduction, traveled alone to the USSR, newly recognized in the US as the first cultural ambassador of friendship. He was the first American to go to the USSR after it was recognized by the US. In the possible spirit of later CIA-sponsored trips to other nations by jazz musicians and so forth, thus creating a potential convergence of the Jewish American Marx Brothers style comedic anarchy with a hypostasized brutalist mutation of Jewish German Karl Marx's communism, inflected and severely warped by non-Jewish Georgian Joseph Stalin. Anarchy and communism have long been uneasy, flirtatious, and disputatious bedfellows, and this potential love match was triangulated, as they always are, by the anxious ministries, literally, of the Soviet Bureau of Foreign Affairs on the one hand, and the US State Department on the other. So this potential utopian convergence carried with it the hopes, dreams, hijinks, wily machinations, and ugly subplots of emergent superpowers at their least utopian. It's almost impossible to imagine a weirder intersection of motives, affective performances, cultural styles, and personality types. So, was our holy fool, our brilliant and beloved Harpo, that soulful bag full of id and tattered schmatas, bested in comedy perhaps only by British Romani Charlie Chaplin, who was born in a gypsy caravan, who, while not an affiliated communist, was definitely a fellow traveler? Was Harpo an international spy? The answer is yes, though he managed to remain pure by not actually knowing anything. On the eve of his return to the US, I think he was there for 6 weeks, who pronounced the Cyrillic spelling Harpo, who pronounced the Cyrillic spelling of his name as Exapno Mapcase, was asked by the American embassy in Moscow to strap some papers to his ankle, and he was forbidden to either look at them or to put that leg in the shower for the duration of his 10-day boat trip back. He had to stick it outside the shower curtain for the duration. He did it and was accosted in his stateroom on the other end by 3 US State Department thugs who relieved him of his ankle baggage and disappeared without his ever knowing what it was he carried, an innocent government mule. The syllabus of this SpeeDegree course, as with most of UnderAcademy College's offerings, skews toward comedic anarchy and away from brutalist autocracy, sidelining Stalin and his ilk, homegrown or otherwise, with hokum and slapstick mayhem, with an aim to reunite Karl with his frivolous brothers. Let us not to the marriage of two benevolent Marxisms admit impediment. And to this add the medium of silence through which Harpo accomplished so much in honor of the recent travails of our dear leader, Talan Memmott, who continually astounds us with his genius for anarchic performance and creativity, silence notwithstanding. I offer Harpo's golden antics and silent semantics. So our collective assignment to pass the course is to now watch 2 brief clips in which Exapno Mapcase counters Stalin Marxism. In the first, he's playing his harp in Moscow. That's about 44 seconds. In the second, he's interviewed on his return to the US. Do I have time to show my clippy clips? Okay. So that means I fumble a little bit more with the this and the that. Okay. Harpo Marx in Moscow. Screen share.
Которому подавляющее большинство человечества в настоящее время стремится.
There's Exapno Mapcase across the top. Terrible sound quality. But it's impressive that we have this at all. No, we don't want this. We don't want. Okay, stop share. And then the other, which is Harpo returning to the US. Fumble, fumble, fumble.
Mr. Harpo Marx is the first distinguished American tourist returning from Russia. What were your experiences there? Pretty good, hey? Did you play the theaters over there? Well, you put on your American act, huh? Did you see any pretty women there? How about vodka? How about caviar? Would you mind telling me something about the Russian women? What, no women or plenty of them?
Okay. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Damon. That was a wonderful, wonderful class. Again, we're only 2 courses away now from you getting your SpeeDegrees. Next up, we have Alan Sondheim with a class entitled Our World Today.
Can you hear me? Yeah? No? You can't hear me? Yay! Okay. My class is entitled Maxims for Our World Today, and because of the time constraints, I have a URL up there which you're required to read because this will take you far too long. So I have to run, let's see. I have to run the video. Hold on.
Alan. Read at a distance, investigate claims. Realize that TV commercials are increasingly hyperbolic and bunk. Buy what you need and make sure what you buy is dependable. Give some of your time to working in solitude, thinking through the day. Give some of your time to meditation and understand that music, painting, drawing, may be meditative themselves. Learn to listen and forgive. Learn to walk away. Learn to participate in good works, and think about the good. That is all I have learned and am still learning. Alan Dojoji. Understand that NFTs and blockchains consume energy but also consume culture. Talk to people on the street. Understand that mocking others for their beliefs hardens the road to Armageddon. Understand if you are not part of the solution, you are part of the problem. This is more than an antique proverb. It is the truth. We all consume, our neoliberal lives are dirty. Always investigate everything you hear. The closer you get to news stories, the more likely you are to discover some truth. Recognize your addictions. Scrolling is an opiate. Use your electronics creatively. Hacking might teach you something about the world. Try to hurt no one as much as possible. Understand that much labor in the world is physical and damaging. Look down on no one, including yourself. Understand that the next new thing is already old and not to be trusted. Understand that large corporations have their roots in violence, in the US and overseas. Learn to recycle. Trust no one under 30 or over 30 for the truth.
Cholu. Error. The request has timed out. Cholu. Sorry, I don't have access to that document. I can follow a lot of things, like our discussion about have you ever been to Europe. Try being more specific. I think dependable is a lot of things. I don't have some of your time to working in solitude thinking through.
Thank you. The course was unfortunately cut off at that point. I was keeping within the time limit as accurately as possible.
Well
I should
done.
get a prize for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're going to give you the the teacher's prize for not going over your time limit. It sounds like students zipping up their backpacks. It's just that sound.
Well, they're zippering up something, that's for sure.
The and just so you know, some of this education is improvised. So thank you, Alan Sondheim, for another great class. Our next class, we have a surprise class for you. We have Jeff T. Johnson's Phoning It In, and taught by, believe it or not, by Jeffrey T. Johnson, who is going to take it away right now.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, not muted.
You got to hold them up closer. Ah.
We'll back up a little bit. Here's the first one.
Yeah.
So here's my class.
Jeff, do you want to read your directions just so that we have them in the audio as well?
Sure. This is a micro seminar called Jeff T. Johnson's Phoning It In, and there's a note. Receive full credit by carefully skimming the description and viewing the sample image, which I'll drop in the chat as well. Choosing the most authentic Zoom photo to hold your place in the meeting while you snooze. Works with family, friends, co-workers, students, teachers, and other salespeople. Any questions? Thank you very much.
All right. Another excellent class. Thank you, Professor Faculty Member Johnson. And so with that, we've come to the end of our curriculum, and we have a little bit of time before graduation for you. Again, if there's anybody who is yet to fill out the application for their SpeeDegree, I can once again put that link in the chat. And then we also have, this is our time for cap and gown rental, which, if I understand correctly, is the time in which you should, actually, I'm not sure which one of these links is. It's the time in which you should make a hat, perhaps, maybe put on something fancy if you have it. You know, you could, if you have a newspaper lying around, I'm impressed. Hold on, let me reshare those links again. And I do believe we're the only unaccredited institution that allows you to submit your application for admission after taking the full curriculum. But again, we do want to make sure this counts for you. And I'm just going to read you what it says in the program. So it's an UnderAcademy College tradition that you make your own cap and gown. We still might charge you to rent it, but be creative. Send us a picture in your regalia and we will share it online. Also, just one little note before we get to some last little bits. You'll get a printable PDF of the degree will be sent out 1 to 2 weeks after completion of the hour-long hyper rigorous or hype rigula or curriculum. Hype rigulum is as it's known. And now, as part of the graduation, as part of the commencement, we're going to read to you from some of those applications that we received. And I will, I'll share the screen so you could see those as well. Very exciting. It's like, feels like Christmas morning. Here we go. So we've got, you can see some of the people who have applied for admission, and maybe that'll, you know, those names are there primarily so that you can just admire them for having being so wise. So here are the nicknames that those people want to go by. And then here's our financial aid forms. This is just, we just asked how much people are good for. Doesn't look like very much, unfortunately. So fortunately, our overhead's relatively low. Here we go. Our favorite UIC memories. And actually, I'm gonna call on one of our students to read this. Dina Larson, you wanna read us some of these favorite memories?
I would be thrilled to. It has been a wonderful time. Well, there weren't any yet, but then there was that peanut butter and chicken incident where they forgot about the Nutella. Yeah, that was fun. We could sugar over that. And then there was the thesis and the graduation of Sunny, Ray, Tempest, which wasn't that hurricane that destroyed the non-existent building. So, you know, we better be careful about that one too. Oh, and teaching the names of the classes whose names I forget, or maybe that was the people. You know, I think that was the professor who was like, I forget him anyway. And I never knew what this was all about, and I have no memories. Maybe I can create one or two, or I don't know, man. Right now, well, you know what? There are just too many cooks in this pot.
Thank you, Dina. Dina, we're gonna let you graduate with honors for that. Your sumo wrestling is make sure that goes on the degree there, President. Graduating with sumo wrestling. So all right, next Alex Som, could you read us what UAC means to our people here?
Sure. Sure. It means exciting possibilities. And how do you pronounce this word? I'm a true student.
So
On a command computers.
Yeah, it may not be misspelled. It might be like a command line thing on a
it's not my language. I don't know. I'm a foreign student. I'm just visiting here. I'm an exchange student. So disruption, everything. And I always thought it was one of those weird things that you all did. And I actually think I can corroborate, and this is true. It means a little to me, yet upside down, homophonically whack.
All right. Thank you very much, Alex, for reading. And we'll give her, we should give her something as well. Some Sumatra ground coffee, perhaps. Okay, all right. Eric Snodgrass, can you read us the things that I should send to people? I mean, just hypothetically, if I had some unpaid debts.
Yeah, you should run away. Spam, 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 spamity spam. That's above my pay grade. You should change your email address. You should know time and cancel the debts.
All right, this all of that sounds promising. Nick Montfort, would you be willing to read what cold fusion is for us?
All right, it seems like it might be a really frozen mating, possibly a cuisine, like one of those cold fusion restaurants, which some people would say is bad, a bad type of food. But whether on a hot day, it might be a cold fusion, could be received otherwise. Your version of a frappuccino. It's chill. I'm not sure whether that's an adjective or a noun, but it's chill, and it's beyond.
Thank you. All right, and we'll need a special title also for Nick's graduation. We've got some nominations here. I see Summa for D. Oh no, Summa is what Dina gets. Let's see. Someone had some other recommendations here. Magnum and champagne. That was one for Alex. Summertime for Eric. Okay, so we'll need a recommendation. Cold drinks for Nick, says Dina. Great. All right, but last but not least, hey Stephanie Strickland, are you really there?
Yes.
Would you read for us what we should say or what follows the "oh crap Putin" prompt? If you
Is input spelled wrong, I'm wearing my
Ivanka, it's a national Ukrainian outfit.
Yeah, I'm wearing yellow and blue. Let's put it that way. Shit. AR, if only it was AR. Totally.
Thank you, Stephanie. All right, very good. Well, and of course, since in true UnderAcademy spirit, all of the students are also faculty, so we're very grateful for all of you who are here, who've participated, who've been faculty. And again, as with most faculty, our reward to you will be no cost of living adjustments this year. Again, I apologize. No travel budget and very little recognition. So with that, I think we're coming to the end of time. President Memmott, do you want to type anything in the chat that we should, for some final thoughts for us? And I'm just gonna look. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So from President Memmott, we just have to receive your diploma. This is the correct form, and you get a link. So we're really keeping us on focused, I think, on what's really important. I'm just going to read a few lines from the chat just because the chat is entertaining to me, and we have a whole 2 minutes. So we have just these closing thoughts. Maria Damon writes, we're coming to the end of time. Alan Sondheim writes, literally the end of Tim. Maria Damon says, who's Tim? Dina Larson says, arg, matey, thanks for walking the meme plank. Then Jeffrey Johnson says, it was the best of Tims. Maria Damon writes, Tim waits for no one. Talan now announces that he's been demoted from president to registrar. Jeffrey Johnson writes, Tim present meets Tim past. Alex Som writes, I only came for the free degree, thanks. Tina Larson writes, Tiny Tim time. Soren writes, UAC will be the only university after the Cold War. Tina Larson writes, resist all you can, Talan. Maria Damon writes, FTW for the win. And Alex Som writes, free drinks too. And with that, I cannot think of more, except for, I was going to say, I couldn't think of anything more appropriate to end with, except for Nick's last contribution, Tim after Tim. Tim after Tim. All right, thanks all. So I thank you all for gathering us. Let's give one more salute, round of applause to our founder here, our president, Talan Memmott. I'm gonna pin him for a second so that he has to. The whole world will be staring at his fezzed and lovely browed head as we applaud. Feel free to unmute yourself while you applaud, or to do sign language for applaud or jazz hands as you wish. And once again, I just want to thank all of you for joining us. Party at Jeff's house, and we'll look forward to seeing you all. Oh, by the way, I should mention there might even be some UAC events coming up at ELO 2023. Just keep your eyes peeled for those. So thank you all very much. I'm going to end the recording now, and then and I'll leave the Zoom running for a few minutes afterwards. Thanks to those of you who watched on the video, and we'll see you next university cycle.